Okay, everyone. Now we're going to move on to, we're still dealing with length, but now what we're going to start to do is we're going to take imperial measurements and we're going to change them over into SI units. Now, I want to be very clear that with this course, you are going to be given a formula sheet. I don't expect you to remember these values because some of them get to be very specific with decimal points. But the focus of this lesson is the calculation. I'll give you the information that you need, the data, but all I ask is that you can figure out the math to convert, let's say, inches into centimeters. We're going imperial to SI. That's the goal of this lesson. Now, of course, you have access to this page. I'm not too worried about these examples at the top, but what I want to focus on is right down here. And I will give you these values. It talks about here imperial to SI. I just zoomed in there for I could kind of draw your attention. Now you see, these are very specific values. It says, 1 inch is, oh, I should point that out. Sorry. This equals sign with a dot on top means, essentially in plain English, just about equals, okay? It's not perfect, but just about. So as you can see here, 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters, okay? 1 foot is 0.31 meters, 1 yard, etc., etc. And I'm going to be honest, I personally don't know those numbers. I don't know those values, but that's okay because the information will be given to you. But I suppose the important point is can you use those values if they're given to you to calculate what you need? So on the next page here, there are some examples we can look at. And what I like here is on the next page, it shows us 2 ways of calculating. And as I've said in the last 2 videos, depending on your math skills, your math background, there's some different ways of figuring this out. And since I guess I don't know you and I'm not sitting there, I don't know the best way for you. So hopefully you can see these 2 solutions. You can kind of say, well, I like that one a little bit better, and maybe it'll work for you. Okay? So here's our example. So we have a person drove their truck from Edmonton to Regina, a distance of 436 miles. What is this distance in kilometers? So, basically what we're trying to do here is, all we want to do is put miles into kilometers. And there's 2 ways of doing this. So I'll show you number 1. Number 1, and I'm going to pretend like solution, I can see this, guys. I know that solution number 1 is right there. Solution number 1 works like this. What you do is you'd go back to the table here, and you'd figure out, well, how many miles are there in a kilometer? And as you know, it's given down there. So what you do is you write, pardon me, I'll go right here. So you know that 1 mile, 1 mi, is equal to 1.61 kilometers. Okay? That's what we know is equal. Now, what we have is we have 436 miles in the question. Now, the way to think of this is you say, okay, well, 1 mile is 1.61 kilometers. Well, what would 2 miles be? 3.2-ish or something like that. Basically, what we have to do is we have to take, we have 1 mile, but we have 436 of them. So long story short, all you have to do here, everybody, is take that 1.61 and times it by 436. And that will help convert your measurement. So 436 times 1.61 is 701.96 kilometers, not miles. Okay, that's so. I mean, basically, here you have to think. I know that 1 mile is 1.61. Well, heck, now I have 436 of these. So I better take this and times it by 436 because I had 436 miles. I'll show you the other way. This way, I would admit this next way is probably my preferred method, and I think that you'll find it a little bit easier as well. What you do is you set up an equivalent ratio per se. And what you do is you say, okay, 1.61 kilometers over 1 mile. Okay, that's what we know. 1.61 kilometers in 1 mile. You make another fraction on the other side. You think to yourself, okay, what did they give us in the question? It was 436 miles. So we're filling in on the right-hand side. Miles If miles were on the bottom on the left, they must now be on the bottom on the right. Now, this is our question mark. We want this guy right down here. Now, think of it. I'd like to think in terms of multiply and divide. If you look, see this 1 mile? 1 multiplied by what gives you 436? Well, it's 1 times 436. If you multiply by 436 in the bottom, you multiply by 436 on the top. And again, it's exact same answer. 1.61 times 436 gives you 701.96 miles. Or kilometers. Sorry, I get my units mixed up. Now, of course, if that doesn't make sense, rewatch it, check it out again. I should say one thing, though, here, everybody. Someone should probably be saying, like, oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? You see, I never told you, if you look right here, I put kilometers on top and miles on the bottom. Just so you know, I could erase this and do everything again, and I get the exact same answer. And let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to erase this. Here we go. That's gone. Now remember, I could put anything I want on top. Now watch this. What if I went like this? What if I went 1 mile is 1.61 kilometers? That's the same thing, isn't it? That's still a connection. 1 mile is 1.61 kilometers. The question gave us 436 miles. This time, if miles are on the top and the left, they better be on top on the right, 436 miles. So you look here, how did they go across? Well, times 436. You get the exact same answer. What I'm trying to show you is it doesn't matter which unit's on top. But if miles are on top on the left, they better be on top on the right, so on and so forth. Let's check out this one at the bottom. Let's see here. We have example 3. I should erase this here. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to get rid of this little bit of text up here if we kind of start off fresh. Okay. So what we have, let's get out of that. Okay. It says here, Andrea's height is 5 feet 7 inches. What is her height in centimeters? So you'll kind of notice here, again, we have 2 ways of doing it. Anyway, I like the way this works out. It's pretty good. And hopefully, as you're getting more practice with this, you'll say, I kind of lean towards one of these methods over the other. But that's what we're here to do. We're trying to help you find out which one you like best. Okay, so let's look at, we're going to do solution 1. So what is Andrea's height? Oh, that's interesting. You see, Andrea's height is 5 feet 7 inches, and they want her height in centimeters. Now that's a little bit of intuition. They didn't go straight to centimeters, did they? First, they have to switch. They have to switch her height into inches. And I know why that is. Because if you go back here to this table, what do they equate to centimeters? Right there. Do you see that? If you want centimeters, what do they equate to centimeters? It's inches. That's how you do this, everybody. You have to look at your goal. Your goal in this case was centimeters. That table tells us how many inches equal a centimeter. That's how you do this. So if we have 5 feet 7 inches and they want centimeters, what does the table tell us? The table only tells us a relationship between inches and centimeters. So we better ensure the value that we've been given has been converted into inches. Pretty straightforward. Maybe you remember now how many inches there are in a foot. Okay, so there are in 1 foot you have 12 inches. So this person, let's look at the whole feet. This person is 5 feet. So wouldn't we just go then 12 times 5? So that's 60 inches right there. I will put this, I'll put this right here, 60 inches. Then, so that's taking care of the 5 feet, because 5 feet is exactly 60 inches, plus we have those 7 more. So in total, this person is going to be 67 inches. Now we have to convert this into centimeters. So What are we going to do? Well, let's see what we got here. So it says here 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. So if you like this method, here's what you got to do. We have 1 inch. I'll do the work down here to pretend like, you know, we're not looking at the solution. So we have 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. So now you know, if you have 1 inch, that's 2.54 centimeters. If you had 2 inches, well, you just times that by 2, you get around, I don't know, 5-ish centimeters. Well, how many inches do we have in total? We have 67 inches times how many centimeters are there in every inch? 2.54. All you have to do is multiply those two numbers together and you get 67 times 2.54. That is about 170.18 centimeters. That's your final answer. Okay? Solution 2, if you want to see it in a different way, this is where we're using that ratio again, which, I personally like. That's up to you. Take what you know to be true. It's 2.54 centimeters equals 1 inch. Make your equivalent fraction. Now, from our previous work in A, remember, this person is 67 inches. We know that. So where were inches on the left? They were on the bottom. Therefore, they better be on the bottom on the right. How do we go from 1 to 67? Well, we timed by 67. Therefore, we had better do the same thing on top. So times 67. So just double check, 2.54 times 67, the exact same answer, 170.18, and they want centimeters. Hopefully, I guess I'm hoping for two things right now. I'm hoping that this system's kind of becoming repetitive, and I hope you're kind of seeing the flow of, this calculation. I'm going to let you practice some more in the next couple of pages here, but I think at the end I want you to know that this table, and it's going back here, this information down here will be given to you. And I hope that you know how to convert from one to the other. It's a bit of a process, but I think that, with a little bit of practice, you'll get there. Okay, I'll let you guys try some practice questions now.